All right, I didn't think that I'd have to do this video for, I don't know, at least 5 more years, but here we are. And at the risk of sounding dramatic, martial arts coaches, it sounds as though our jobs may be at risk too because of AI. This AI software company reached out to me and said, we'd like for you to do a sponsored video demonstrating the capabilities of our new app. So I checked it out. And I had some pretty low expectations, but I'm gonna show you this in a second. I had to respond to them. And I said to them, I was like, respectfully, I'll do a video, but I'm not gonna accept payment because I'm not doing these talking points. I wanna do an honest review. So I thought the interface was a little corny, right? Until I actually tried it. So you got my profile here. It says I have an 11-day streak. You press upload and you choose the video file. And then within seconds, look at this. It gives you an overall score. It says I got a 76%, a C+. And this is the crazy part. If you look right here, it says footwork too heavy on the front leg. And when I saw this for the first time, my stomach dropped because I've been training martial arts for 25 years. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago that I realized I kept too much weight in my front leg. And then I had to do corrective exercises to fix it. You go in here, I click this right here, and it says, due to the amount of punches that you're throwing and the power at which you're throwing them, it's not conducive for keeping your weight in the front leg. Here are some corrective exercises. And you click on it, right? Right here is the light footwork drills, it says. You click on that, and then it pulls it up right here, and it says, here's the workout, fixing footwork. Perform this exercise for 12 to 20 reps each side to strengthen your rear leg. You click, now, before I show you this video, because it's wild. A lot of people are probably wondering how much this costs. I'm gonna get into that in a second. Real quick, let me just get a quick rant out here. People are worried about AI stealing their jobs. People are worried about cybersecurity. People are worried about like absolute worst case scenario, which is the fate of the human race being eradicated. But until somebody uploads all of the fight tips videos into the Boston Dynamic robots, you know the ones I'm talking about, and they just kill every human on the planet. It is our duty to become the best versions of ourselves through martial arts. I think of martial arts as music. That makes our bodies the instruments. I want to master this instrument. Then you've got different genres of music, right? Just like you have different fighting styles. So you've got Muay Thai, you've got boxing, you've got kickboxing, and MMA, and jiu-jitsu. Then you've got subgenres, right? So are you a knee fighter? Are you a counter fighter? Do you like the peekaboo, the Philly shell, whatever it may be? But it's not just about techniques. I want to understand the theory. I want to remember the history and the lineage, because to me, there will always be that human element when it comes to coaching. Because so much of the stuff that my coaches taught me don't just pertain to things that happen on the mats or in the ring, it's outside in everyday life, right? And it's chasing the challenges. It's being comfortable in uncomfortable situations. It's learning from our failures. It's pushing ourselves. It's the competition against ourselves. That is martial arts, right? Like you don't get to an endpoint and stop. You do this until the day that you die. I identify as a martial artist, and I want to become the best version of myself, not just for me, but for others, right? Like I want to pay this forward. I want to teach my friends and my family and my friends' kids, and I want them to become the best versions of themselves, and then I want them to pay it forward to everyone else in their lives. That's the domino effect, that ripple effect that martial arts creates. Now, all right, that's basically the end of my rant. I want to talk about this feature on this app that absolutely just blew my mind once I saw it. So I talked to you about how it creates different workouts, right? Check this one out. I press this button right here, and when I press it, it brings up the exercise, but look, that's me doing it. It created a 3D model based on the videos that I've uploaded, and it's showing me do the actual exercises. Not only that, it'll also give me, look, expected progress in 1 week. Look how much better I look, 4 weeks, 10 weeks. Now, to see myself moving like that gives me such a boost of confidence because I'm like, man, it is achievable. And that this exists, that I can just upload a couple of videos and it can create this 3D model. I know you're watching right now and you're like, yo, how can I get my hands on this? How can I get this app? How much does it cost? Well, I'm gonna guess somewhere around $20 million because this app doesn't exist. If you haven't figured it out by now, these are just videos that I filmed and I just created some like pictures together to make it look like an app. It's not real. But I came up with this idea when I was thinking about this philosophy. You want to train like a fighter, but think like a coach, right? Even if you have a coach, I'm sure that coach is always echoing in your head when you're training by yourself because that coach can't keep their eye on you 24/7. So maybe they're working with another individual, maybe you're at home shadow boxing. you still have to hear their teachings in your head and remember them so that you create good habits and enforce those good habits while getting rid of the bad habits. That's on you. You have to have this internal coach, and you got to take pride in it, because you're either getting one step better or one step worse based on the training that you're doing. And if you don't have that good internal coach guiding you, what direction are you headed? So I want to talk about this in relation to shadow boxing. I want to help you always be in that self-improvement mode. I want you to be able to analyze your training in the moment, in real time, so that you can become a better fighter through shadow boxing. Let's take a look. The first tip when it comes to enhancing your shadow boxing and thinking like a coach is you want to visualize someone in front of you as opposed to looking at yourself in the mirror. You can do that from time to time, but what I want you to do is visualize someone in front of you, all right? And the first thing I want you to do is circle away from their power side. So whatever hand is in the rear, in this case my right hand, visualize them in a stance and circle away from it. Go. So I'm moving to my right, which means I'm fighting what? An orthodox fighter. If I'm fighting a southpaw, I'm going to be going to my left. I'm going to be occupying that lead hand, okay? Now I want you to take it to the next level. Let's say you're fighting someone taller or shorter. Let's go with taller. Everyone always has trouble against a taller opponent, right? So now I'm picturing maybe I have to punch up to them, right? And if they're taller, they're probably what? A counter fighter. They're going to be looking to snipe you with jabs and crosses, keep it long on the outside. So what am I going to do? Everyone's going to say, get on the inside, right? I like thinking one step ahead. Let's go backwards, force him to come forward, then a hard feint, get him to counter, then I slip and rush him, right? Maybe I get aggressive, maybe I tie up the arms and make it messy. Point number 2 is you want to look at tendencies that you have. So maybe you have a tendency of unnecessary footwork movements, or maybe you shake your arms out right after a combo. So I throw a jab, cross, hook, and then I shake my arms out. If I do that in a fight, that tall counter fighter is going to knock me out. So I need to get in the habit of going jab, cross, hook, exiting clean, giving myself 2 or 3 steps before I shake my arms out. Keep it realistic to an actual spar or an actual match, because the habits that you build in your training is what you're going to do in a spar, and what you do in a spar is what you're going to do in a fight. Point number 3 now is you want to look at technique. How can we optimize that? And then every time you watch the recordings of your video, you'll be able to see whether or not you got one step better or one step worse, right? So this is where you'll see other tendencies of maybe like dropping your opposite hand or telegraphing before you punch. Maybe you are getting stiff-legged at one point, you start to get fatigued. And let's talk about, let's say you are a little heavy in that front leg. How can you correct that? Here's the exercise that's in that video, because it doesn't exist. It exists up here. I came up with this one, son, right? So what we're gonna do is a pull, and then I'm gonna drop down into a lunge while keeping weight in my back leg, and then come back. So look, I do the kickstand with this back leg, small retreating step. It's carrying most of my weight now. Let's do even more. Let's put more weight on it, tap the floor, and then come back, right? I can do this 12 to 20 times. I just did 3 reps and I'm already starting to feel it in my quadricep. Then I'd switch my stance and I do the same thing in this leg here, keeping weight in the back leg and coming back. There's a good corrective exercise for you. If you want more exercises like this, guess where you can find it? Magnus. I've been telling you this for how long now? So if you're someone who is legitimately worried about losing their job due to AI, or just feeling a little bit stranded, I would genuinely suggest looking into martial arts, right? I was joking earlier when I talked about robots, but seriously, there will always be that human element with martial arts. I think without humans, you don't really have martial arts. You don't have that constant self-improvement, and there will always be a need for coaches, but you got to start somewhere. And if you can start with the end goal being, I want to be a coach, then your student journey will be that much more fruitful. Now, here's the thing. I'm 100% a student every single day, right? I train as often as I teach, and I'm constantly looking to learn and grow and improve. And not just with my striking, but with my jiu-jitsu, with my strength and conditioning, with performance training. Like I'm always looking to grow and become a better coach for my athletes and for myself. And if you're interested in possibly pursuing this journey, this is what Magnus is all about. Right? We have the curriculum available on there so that you can get the why behind the what, the theory behind it all. And I'm sorry to say that you did miss the October 7th deadline to sign up to become a white belt. The next one is going to be in January, but next year, 2025, people will have the ability to test for their beige belt. So if you did earn your white belt, you'll have the ability to rank up. And once you get your beige belt, you have the ability to earn your black belt. I call it a gray belt, just as a reminder that there is no end point. You want to constantly strive to be better. But with the gray belt, it's a symbol that you understand the curriculum enough to pass it on and teach it to others. So if this sounds like something that might be a possible career for you, or if you just want to have that confidence enough in the striking system so that you can teach it to your children, your friends, your family, then become a Magnus member today. Join in on the live streams, upload footage of yourself, get the customized feedback, join our community, and get access to 650 video lessons in a growing library with coaches from around the world. Or just wait for Fight AIQ to come out. Yo, if someone comes out with that, let me know, because I'm going to sue the balls off, get that 25 million.